Good morning, true crime friends. I'm super sleepy this morning. I might go back to bed and just skip the gym. I don't know. Today is not my day, but listen, I'm just sitting here watching a little bit of true crime early in the morning like I always do, and I found this case. Now, it's not even a case yet. It's an accusation, I guess. Lindsay Shriver. Are you following this case? Do you know anything about this? Listen. This woman, Lindsay Shriver, right? She's like an influencer on TikTok. I think it was TikTok. One of those social media platforms. And she's this Georgia mom. She used to be like a beauty queen, and she's got 4 little kids and a beautiful husband and fancy life, blah, blah, blah. Everything is going great, right? And so they have a home in the Bahamas. Very nice to be her. So her and the family get on the private plane and they fly down to the Bahamas like you do. But first, before we go further, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and then we can get back to talking mess about Miss Lindsay. So look, Lindsay goes over there to Grabber's bar because she's in the Bahamas, and why wouldn't she? And she meets this dude who is also like a prominent figure in the Bahamian community. Great. His father's politically connected. You and your husband have money. You're just tipping back a few drinks and having a good time. Only they had a little bit of a good time, like too much. And so her and this dude became lovers. Okay, that happens. That ain't happened to me, but I'm saying that happens to people. Okay, so they become lovers, and then you know what they decide is a good idea. You know what we're gonna do. Okay, we lay in here, we have a little pillow talk. You know what we should do? We should kill my husband. Doesn't that seem like a great idea? Yeah, let's kill my husband. So this local dude was like, oh, you know what? I know some killers. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know no killers. But he's like, yeah. I know a couple guys, and we're going to get them, and they're going to kill your husband. Everything is going to be great. Okay, terrific. So they plotting and planning and having a little fair and doing whatever they do. Life is going along. The husband, the 3 children, 3 small children, they over here playing in the sand and being with the housekeeper and doing whatever else. And then down there at the Grabber's bar, there's some sort of robbery. But they're not there when the robbery happens, so what do they care? And so the police are investigating the robbery. And for one of the robbers, they go through his phone and they're like, what are these notes about you being a hitman? So you're going to shoot the dude and all of the details are right here? Okay. So, sir, Mr. Robber, also Mr. Would-be Hitman, we're going to need you to give us a teensy little bit more information about this collation that you're trying to set up. And so the robber dude was like, right. So can I get a little time off my sentence, or can you just drop all these charges if I tell you about the collation? And the cops was like, tell us what you know and we'll see. Now, listen, you know how this works. I don't know what actually was said. I'm surmising based on the 4 minutes of court TV that I just watched. But according to me, the gospel according to Kathy, this is what had happened. So the robber was like, yeah, so I got this side hustle as a killer because it pays more. And but I don't kill that many people, so, you know. But if you want to know the rich white lady who put me up to it, oh, look, you got a pen? Because I'm going to give you her name. I'm going to give you her phone number. I'm going to give you her social security number. Well, no, just the last 4 because, you know, personal security is important to me. And the target and her children. So the cops were like, thank you so much. We are going to put you on jail light. I don't know how they do it. But so the would-be hitmen, 2 of them, give up Lindsay and her boyfriend. So they're like, okay, excuse me, Mr. Husband, sir, can we talk to you? Close the door. Your wife is home? Your wife? Okay. Can you come outside? Great. Listen, so we were down at the Grabbers, and he was like, yeah, my wife loves that place. What's happening at Grabbers? They were like, right. So you're not going to be that excited when you hear this news, but apparently your wife is trying to kill you. And he was like, what? And so they were like, yeah. So, probably going to be in your best interest to go and take your kids and pack up the private jet and go on back home. We about to arrest her. By the way, is she home? Also, can you get me a glass of cool lemonade or some rum punch or something? Because it is hot here in the Bahamas. Even though I'm wearing all white and I'm looking quite dapper, I'm thirsty. So they were like, okay, so listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lure her out here. We're going to have her bring the icy cold drinks. And then when she comes, you can slap the cuffs on her. I mean, again, that's probably not what actually happened. That's what I decided happened. So the husband was like, great, that's a plan. Lindsay, babe, can you come in for a minute? Bring some rum punch for these nice gentlemen. And some plastic glasses, because in case they fall and break. And she was like, why would they fall and break? He was like, don't worry about that part. Could you get some plastic glasses and lots of ice because, oh boy, it's hot out here, even though they're wearing these delightful white uniforms. They're supposed to keep the heat off them, but it's hot. And so she's like, okay. So she come with a nice Tupperware on a tray because, class. And so that she's like, hey, gentlemen, how can I help you? And they're like, there was a robbery down at Grabbers. And she was like, oh, my goodness, please, here, have your drink in plastic glasses, which somehow seems suspicious to me. And they were like, hey, Lindsay girl. And the husband was like, oh, I'm going to be right back. And he goes in the house because he don't want to be part of this. And plus, he needs to cover his children's eyes for when their mommy get arrested. So they were like, cuff her, dude. And so they drop the plastic glasses and they don't break because it's plastic. And they put the cuffs on her and they stuff her in the back of the car and take her downtown. And she's like, oh, I am a TikTok star. You cannot keep me in these handcuffs. Why ever am I in the back of a car? And did my husband know about this? And is that why he wanted me to bring plastic glasses? And they were like, yes and yes. So they take her downtown and they were like, so we have word that you and your prominent politically collected lover. She was like, my lover. They were like, girl, we got all the messages. Don't even play. She was like, all right, what you want to know? And so they said, yeah, so the hitman also robbed the bar because, you was not paying fast enough and they didn't have all the hit information fast enough. Plus, clearly they're criminals. If they agree to kill somebody, they have no qualms about robbing a bar. So she was like, right, I should have thought of that. Also, the plastic glasses. My husband was in on this, right? And they were like, That's why he was asking you to get the Tupperware because he didn't want you to break the fine china right here on the front porch. She was like, right, that was good thinking. So they talked to her and she was like, listen, oh my goodness, you've misunderstood. Allow me a moment to explain. So me and my boyfriend, we was just having a little kiki. We was playing around. Oh my goodness. You thought that was real? It was just a joke. You saw the emojis in the text message, right? I had the emoji defense because it was not me because I had the laughing face with the tears and the laughing face that was rolling back and forth. That means it was a joke. And they were like, oh, we're not bilingual. We don't speak emoji, but we're going to have to get an emoji interpreter in here to help us understand what this meant. In the meantime, we're going to send you over to one of the toughest prisons in the world for you to wait out this entire situation while we figure it out. And she was like, right. Do they have good Starbucks there? And they were like, ma'am, they barely have food there. You will be eating boiled rat tonight for dinner. So please enjoy yourself. Have a good day. Don't trip on your way out the door. And she was like, dang it. I went from a mansion with a maid and my 3 beautiful children and my rich husband that I was cheating on to boiled rat for dinner. This is not good for me. But as soon as my very rich husband understands that I was just kidding, and hires a good emoji interpreter, also a lawyer, then I'm going to be out of here in no time. The husband is at the house throwing things into the suitcase and saying to the housekeeper, listen, can you just ship all of this later? Grab the kids, grab some Pampers or whatever, and we're going to get on that private plane. So they get on a private plane and go back to Georgia. And he was talking to his mama like, Ma, let me tell you what happened. And the mother was like, darling, because she's Southern, right? Darling, I knew your wife was trash. She was nothing but trash. And so he was like, Ma, turns out you were right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to divorce her. I'm not going to have to pay no alimony. I'm going to make sure that she stays locked up there in the Bahamas. And with all the money I saved, we're going to double the size of this mansion. And one of them cute ladies down at the country club, well, she going to snatch me right up because clearly I'm a prize. And the mother is like, darling, I'm going to get you a proper wife. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So they come back to Georgia. They put the kids in school because now school has started. And he goes on back to being like the CEO or the CFO or the some sort of C something in his company. Meanwhile, she's down there in the prison having boiled rat with a side of roach chips because, roaches are crunchy. They make nice chips. So little time goes by and he was just like, you know what? She is the mother of my children. So maybe it's been a couple of months. She's sitting there in prison. Maybe I could let her out. Meanwhile, the dudes who gave her up, well, they out because they gave her up. The rich connected boyfriend, he's rich and connected. He's out here in these streets. And she's like, oh, boiled rat again. Oh, look, with a side of mouse tail. I hear these are delicious. So she goes to jail yesterday, right? Because she's going to get bail. Why is her bail just like $1,000? Also, she ain't have the money. Because if she had the money, she would have got out. But clearly she ain't have the money. Her husband, the man she tried to kill, generously agreed to pay her bail so she could get out. I imagine he's also paying for the place for her to live because he's not letting her go back to the house. How much you want to bet she living in a broke down shack someplace? Because he's like, that's the mother of my children. I want to make sure she's okay, and lives a very long time to be tortured down there in a Bahamian prison. So he rented her a place. He paid her bail of $1,000. Okay. I would think she could like hock some jewelry or have that in her sock drawer, maybe down in like the edges of the couch or something, but she broke. So according to me, I don't know if that's fact, but I'm just saying, according to me, Miss Lindsay Shiver, she broke. And if she wasn't broke before, she about to be broke now because she's not getting no alimony. She's not getting custody of the kids. The dude was like, this is a win-win. Can you imagine how much cheaper this is than a custody battle with a woman who looks like the all-American housewife? She used to be a beauty queen. She's a TikTok star. We on the TikTok doing all the TikTok dances. And now I'm just here with the nanny that I was having an affair with anyway, while my mama finds me a new appropriate Southern wife, and I'm just living my best life and not paying alimony. Yes and yes. So Lindsay got out of jail yesterday, and they were like, the press was down there. Lindsay, what do you have to say to your kids? Lindsay, what do you have to say about your husband? Lindsay, was it all just a joke? And she's like, everybody has misunderstood. This was just a joke. I don't understand why people don't get it. That's not what she said. She ain't say nothing, but that's what she wanted to say. I could tell because I'm part psychic. So she gets out of jail. The husband is still in Georgia, and the trial has not started yet. Now, what are the chances that she gets off? This is a Bahamian court. She is a foreigner, and everybody can be like, it was the colonizer. All them other people who was involved in the crime, they're like, it was not us. We are locals here. You know how these colonizers do? They come down here and they use and manipulate us. And so, it was her. It was not us. Also, her lover is very politically connected. And so, he not going to jail, right? And apparently, according to court TV, so she's sitting there in the court, is her sitting next to her boyfriend. Was they holding hands and making eyes at each other? Or was she like, you know what? It wasn't even worth it. He wasn't even good at the thing I like the best. I'm not going to go into detail because this is a family channel. So she's sitting, is her, the two hitmen and her boyfriend, and she's sitting side by side with the hitman. He looking at her like, this is an unfortunate situation. My 3 other side pieces have been missing me while I was in jail. Lindsay girl, you have messed up bad. And so that she got set free. She got an ankle monitor. She's not allowed to go back to the United States. They took her passport. She cannot speak to her children, and she cannot speak to her husband. And her husband is saving a ton on alimony. Yes, he has filed for divorce. He gonna get that moved through the court very quickly. And he gets sole custody, which means he don't have to deal with her and her foolishness over there. Now, will he have to answer some questions like, where is mommy? Yes. Yes, he will. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to hire a lovely nanny to take care of those kids and then marry an appropriate Southern wife. And everything going to be good for him. Oh, he's going to be heartbroken. But them little Southern belles will be like, let me bake you some cheddar biscuits and help heal your broken heart. Would you like some, what is that tea they drink? Sweet tea? I can't mess with sweet tea. I'm just saying. Clearly, I am a Yankee because sweet tea, I think, it's like a glass of diabetes. Would you like a glass of diabetes? Your sugar's not high enough? Here, have some nice high blood sugar. Anyway, so Lindsay Shriver, this is a case we will be keeping an eye on. In the meantime, this dude, excuse me, Austin Ford, down there in Georgia. Oh, another Georgia case. Austin Ford in Georgia. We are on Verdict Watch. Can you believe we on Verdict Watch? Get your Verdict Watch bingo cards out. There are Verdict Watch bingo cards on the community tab, also on the bingo card tab. Look, we are on Verdict Watch. We don't know what's going to happen. Do I think Austin is going to be convicted? No. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, because I'm wrong all the time. But in this case, he's accused of killing his best friend. Now, the state has proved that he was likely there when his best friend got killed, and that he helped her in some way. Now, did he pull the trigger? Did he just take her car? Did he throw away the gun? Well, he confessed to taking the car and throwing away the gun. So he already been convicted of those charges. But did he pull the trigger or not? This boy is shady AF. But I don't know that the state has proved that he pulled the trigger. In fact, the medical examiner, her very own self, is like, yeah, I don't know what you want from me. I work a million hours, and I did the whole investigation and took pictures, did everything I was supposed to do, but I still can't tell. And the two lawyers on this case, the prosecution and the defense, I think both of them have the same last name. Are both of their last name Lewis? It's a couple people named Lewis. So the prosecutor looks like Uncle Phil. I don't know the dude's actual given name, but he looks like Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And the defense attorney looks like Gordon from Sesame Street. And a lot of people online were saying like, oh, he looks like Steve Harvey. Y'all don't know black people like I know black people. And that black man, he looked like Gordon. He does not look like Steve Harvey to me. But this dude, the defense attorney, he's a New Yorker. Now listen, I was listening to his accent real hard, trying to decide what part of New York he's from, because if you're not from New York, it's all just New York. But if you live in the local area, you're like, is he Brooklyn? Is he the Bronx? And I had decided that he's very definitely not from Brooklyn. And then he said his father worked for the Path. And I was like, oh, New Jersey. But then he talked about his father walking him to school, partway to school for part of the commute. And then I decided, it came to me, Harlem. He's from Harlem. I hear his accent and I'm like, that is a man who grew up in Harlem. It matters not at all to this case. It's just interesting to me personally. Just like when we were doing the Travis Rudolph case and I heard Mark, what is his name? Mark Schreiner speak. I was like, oh, Brooklyn is in the house. You can hear Brooklyn. I recognize Brooklyn when I hear Brooklyn. But the lawyer, Gordon from Sesame Street, if you don't know Gordon from Sesame Street, maybe you're not old like I'm old, go on and Google. Look up a picture of that defense attorney whose name escapes me right now, Mr. Lewis, and Gordon from Sesame Street, and you're going to be like, oh, twins. So anyway, Gordon from Sesame Street, I think lives in North Jersey. He's in North Jersey like me. Is he in Bergen County? Will I see him at the Piggly Wiggly, the ShopRite? Is he still alive, child? I don't even know. Anyway, we are waiting for a verdict in the Austin Ford case. I don't think he killed his best friend. Truthfully, I don't think he killed her. Did he? I think he thought maybe he was helping her. And so she was like, listen, I'm going to shoot myself, but don't tell my mom and them, and take my car and park it over here and get rid of this gun. I think he thought he was helping her. He did not help. He made himself look guilty. But this young lady, she was a troubled young lady. And the fact that when it all came down to it, they went to her parents and they said, what do you think could have happened? And she was like, the mother was like, oh, did she unalive herself? Mama, why was that your first go-to? Well, if that was your first go-to, that tells me you suspected that something was going on, or you knew something was going on. This girl she was a young teenager, which is by definition very hormonal. It was the pandemic, so folks was having a rough time. She had been taken to the hospital a couple of times for attempts to unalive herself. You knew she was engaging in drugs because the mother was like, she need to be doing what she's supposed to be doing and not hanging out with those boys with the face tattoos and smoking all that weed, mama. Mama, you knew she was up to something. Mama, you should have intervened instead of being like, our daughter is perfect and beautiful and wonderful. And the daughter was writing all these prayers to God, like, dear God, help me find some cash. Is that what God is for? God is busy. What are y'all doing? Listen, you know the wrong. Write to Michael Jackson. Write to Beyonce. Write to somebody else. There is war and famine. You and trying to pay your car insurance? I mean, if you feel like you need to write, but that letter's going to the bottom of the pile. I'm telling you right now. You better write to somebody you got some more access to. Who's dead and Luther Vandross. Luther probably not busy. Write to Luther Vandross. He can probably help you out. He know the back channels. Luther's friendly. He sing a nice song, and then he can get your letter right to the top of the pile of the appropriate department instead of just going to the CEO for every single thing. You go to the CEO for every single thing, and then it's just like, ugh, this bitch again. But anyway, these are just theories. Again, the gospel according to Kathy. But I'm just saying she was going about it wrong. But also she was going about mental health wrong. Bless her. I'm not trying to talk bad about the dearly departed, but I'm just saying this was a troubled young woman. She was dating dudes who didn't love her. I mean, haven't we all been there? Me at 18? Well, I wasn't even dating because wasn't nobody trying to take me out when I was 18, child. You should have seen me. I was a hot ass mess. But in my 20s, I loved a boy. Oh, I thought he was the miracle of my life. I was like, we are going to spend our entire lives together and we are going to live happily ever after right here in Terre Haute, Indiana, the way the Lord intended. And then I found out one troubling little detail about him. And that one troubling little detail was that he was gay. Not just like a little bit gay, very, very gay. Now, he liked me and I liked him. And I was like, oh, well, this is just a little hurdle for us to overcome. You and the homosexuality, yes, you love me. He still loves me. We're still good friends. Hey, Paul, how you doing? But we're still buddies and like not good friends because we live 900 miles from each other and I haven't seen him in like 15 years, but I do see him on Facebook, so that counts. And he wishes me happy birthday. I wish him happy birthday. It's all lovely and fine. But back then, when I was a 19, 20-year-old, he was the hottest dude on campus. Everybody knew his name. He was very popular. I was popular because I was standing next to a popular dude. And I was just like, He was a DJ at the local club. He was a DJ on the radio on the side. He had some little man friends. He loved Boys Night Out. I was like, ooh, why he love Boys Night Out so much? What's so exciting about Boys Night Out? Now I know what's so exciting about Boys Night Out. But we were both like, each other's first everything. Well, not his first everything. I might have been his first possibly only woman, but it didn't even get that far between the two of us. I was like, he's such a gentleman. He's not trying to pressure me into nothing. Turns out there was a reason behind that. But anyway, I'm just saying, when you're young and in love and foolish, I thought that my love could overcome gayness. That's how clueless I was. Now, I could still love this young man. He could still love me. But did that mean we was going to be happily ever after? Absolutely not. So being young, inexperienced, stupid, and then chock full of drugs. Oh, child, if you had a drug, I was going to try. You're like, you got some? Is it delicious? Will it make me high? Will it make my head spin and make me feel all buzzy? Yes, please, I will have some. I went to college literally having had one wine cooler in high school. Just one. And it was given to me by my auntie, who is now super religious, so I'm not going to use her name. She knows who she is. Hey, auntie, you know you was giving me them Bartles and James back when Bartles and James was a thing. Now, all the old people just laugh because y'all know who Bartle and James are. But the young folks is like, what is Bartles and James? Anyway, before there was Truly, there was Mr. Bartle and there was Mr. James, and they was getting us drunk. Not drunk. They was getting us alcohol because it was like 1% alcohol by volume or something like that. Anyway, so where was I saying? Child, you know I don't know what I was saying. I'm just running my mouth. I'm always tired when I start these videos. And after I start running my mouth, I'm just like, woo, child. And then, this is ridiculous. I don't know. Anyway, I thought my love could help me overcome this young man's homosexuality, a foolish endeavor, just like I would imagine that this young girl who unalived herself thought that like her problems were so terrible and she was gonna fix them with more weed and ecstasy and whatever else, and it made her brain go all wacky. And poor thing, her parents didn't understand her, but nobody's parents understand them when they're 19. I got a 19-year-old. He think I don't understand him, and truthfully, I don't. But that's going to pass. She didn't trust that it would pass. And her brain chemistry might have been a little bit off. And mom and daddy and them was like, well, just go write a letter to Jesus. It's going to be okay. And the next thing you know, she dead in the park. So it's sad. Did this dude do it? No. Did he help her? Yes. And I'm sure they made some half-wit plan. Like, okay, I'm going to unalive myself. And then you just take my car and put it over here and take the gun and put it over there. How that sound? That sounded, I'm sure to them, that sounded like a brilliant plan. Just like me marrying this gay dude sounded like a brilliant plan. I was like, boyfriend's on the side? Yeah, sure, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. Meanwhile, this kid was like, me taking the car someplace and throwing away the gun? I'm sure that's going to fine. We'll deal with that later. You know what he's dealing with later? Court, possible prison. But the state, truthfully, I don't think they have the evidence. They might convict. I don't know. They might convict on one of the lesser included, but he's sitting there looking all innocent. And then his mama, this boy's mama. Now listen, if you are the parent of a teen or a tween, you are likely going through it, going all the way through it, because that's what teens and tweens do. That is what they are supposed to do. We have 4 sons. The first one that went through teenage, I was like, what is happening? How is my life blown up like this? Where did we go horribly wrong to get this child who's acting crazy? And then he moved through it and I was like, oh. So when it happened to the next one, I was like, wait, are these the crazy years? Because I feel like these are the crazy years. And then he moved on through it. And I was like, my 2 little babies, they precious and they perfect. They're never gonna, oh wait, he did what? He said what now? What? So I was like, oh, this is just what happens. So when the fourth one started going through, I was like, well, listen, you go on that crazy over there in your room. I ain't got time for your foolishness. And it didn't freak me out. I ain't raised my hair. I was like, what time? Okay, he gonna be, give this 2-3 years. His brain gonna come right back in his head. Everything gonna be fine. But listen, you get yourself in trouble, you gonna have a problem with me. And they scared of me like they supposed to be. And so it all worked out just fine. So these young foolish kids took dramatic action, and the mama, who's an idiot, the mother of Austin Ford, is sitting her behind in court taking pictures on her cell phone. Ma'am, they should have put her in jail on the strength of her being an idiot. Now, being an idiot is not against the law. Otherwise, our jails would be super, super overcrowded, and I might need to invest in private prisons. But you going to take a picture in court, and if you going to take a picture in court, don't get caught, sis. Don't get caught. You out here getting caught doing dumb stuff while your son is on trial for his life. And so the judge called her up there, and they seized her phone, and they were like, I didn't say put your phone on silent. I said turn it off. Power it all the way off so you can't use it. And this heifer's taking pictures, including pictures of the jury. She's stupid. Is she using drugs? What is wrong with this lady? And she had nerve to sit there like she had an attitude. The judge was like, power your phone all the way off. And she was like, do I have to turn it off? Yes, heifer. Yes, you have to turn it all the way off. The judge is about to turn off all your freedom. So you might want to go and turn that phone off and get you a burner phone like you had some common doggone sense. If it was me, if I was going to take some pictures, you buy a burner phone specifically for that purpose. So when they take your phone, ain't nothing on it. There's nothing for them to find. And your real phone is back in the car at the house someplace else. She's stupid. And she about to mess up her son's situation. Thankfully, that did not happen in front of the jury. And then the lawyer was like, Mr. Gordon from Sesame Street, who's from Harlem, was like, Your Honor, I would like to motion that this ignorant heifer be banned from the courtroom because she is messing up my case and distracting all of us, and I am sick to death of her. She's a distraction. That's not exactly what she said. I'm summarizing, but that is the spirit that he brought to the entire situation. And the judge was like, oh, I'm tired of this heifer. With her eyes. That's what she said, with her eyes. And she was like, okay, ma'am, clearly you're a dumbass. And we're going to take your phone for the pendency of this trial. And then you're going to come and stand before me afterwards. And then we're going to have a contempt hearing. And you're probably going to get some jail and a fine. And so she was like, ugh. So they go through the whole thing. And then the judge realizes, oh, wait, Austin was not in here. So he didn't see me talk to his mama like she wasn't nothing because she ain't nothing. And so, the judge was like, how come y'all didn't tell me he was not here? And so she was like, ugh, sick of these fools. That's not what she said. That's what her body image, her body actions said. Body language. So they brought Austin back in and she was like, boo boo, I'm sorry. I was reading your mama for filth when you was not here in the room. And so I'm going to have to recap the reading for you. And so basically this is what happened. The heifer was in here taking pictures. I told her she couldn't do it. She catching a case right now in the middle of your case. Clearly she not that bright. Your lawyer wants her kicked out of the trial. What you got to say? And he was like, and the lawyer was like, let me translate. Dude, your mama's a distraction. And I said she need to get kicked out. Do you understand that? She gonna have to come back to court. All right. And we're gonna deal with this later. And he was like, okay, Gordon from Sesame Street. And he's like, okay, thank you, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed. Gordon from Sesame Street, he's a good lawyer. He is a good lawyer. First of all, he's a Harlem boy, so I trust him off the rip. But he's a good lawyer. And if I commit a crime, which I do not plan on doing, I'm calling him. Even if I'm not in Georgia, I'm going to be like, somebody get Gordon from Sesame Street. Now, listen. I said the other day, if I get arrested for murder, which I do not plan on committing, but if I am wrongly accused and framed and you find the body dead on the floor like a carp or something like that, and the side of the head is flat where I hit him with my iron skillet, because I'm always talking about hitting people with an iron skillet, go get that dude. Go get him and tell him, like, listen, Miss Kathy down there from the Gossip Rumor and Innuendo, she's a big fan. She needs you, sir. She needs you badly. So you're going to come up here and you're not going to waste time, and you're going to quick, fast, in a hurry, get the whole situation summarized and wrapped up and send her back on her merry way back to New Jersey where she belongs, tucked safely in the suburbs. That is what needs to happen. What also needs to happen is I need to quit talking, because this video is going to take 500 years to upload because it's nearly 30 minutes long. I should have known better than to go long. Okay, listen. Y'all have a great day. I will see you at lunchtime for Lunchtime True Crime, where we find out more about those trifling behind people down in South Carolina. Until then, make it a great day. Bye.